Hi students, hope you guys are doing well. This video I'd like to go over the reading guide on final digestion and absorption. Okay, it should have been due already. I think it was due today actually. And so I'd like to go over it and go over it in one shot with everyone. Okay, all right. So how long is the digestive system? Approximately. Now it's about 30 feet long. Now if you really think about what 30 feet is, that's a ton. Okay, if you have a normal size ceiling, normal size walls in your bedroom or wherever you are, normal is 8 feet. If you have a higher ceiling, they're usually 10 or even more. But think about an 8 foot from your floor to your ceiling in a normal room. Now, that means that your intestines, your digestive system, if I stretched out in a straight line, they would go from your floor to your ceiling, back down, and back to the ceiling. So that is really, really long. I mean, we're just talking about a really long tube going on. Okay? All right. Let's see here. What two main things do your small intestine do for you? At this point, most everything is mechanically digested already. So the biggest thing your small intestine does is chemical digestion and absorption. It absorbs the nutrients out of it. Stomach doesn't really do anything for absorption. Your small intestines do the absorption. Okay? How long and thick is your small intestine? Now it varies. Hopefully you guys watched this video down here. You could see how thick it is. But your small intestine, it is about, I didn't write this one down. If I remember correctly, it's about 5 feet long. I'd have to look at it exactly. It's a little bit longer than a normal size car. So think of a smaller car. That's about how big it is, okay? Now, how thick it is, it's about 2 to 3 centimeters thick. Now, the inside, the area that it goes through, that the food actually goes through, I mean, that can vary from about the diameter of a dime to the diameter of a quarter. So, I mean, it's actually a small tube that just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay? All right, the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys weren't eating while you watched it. I found it very, very informative, really cool. That was endoscope. That was when they basically took someone and jammed a really, really small camera down their throat to check out what's going on in their intestine. Okay. Nowadays, and I find this really, really interesting, now with wireless technology, they actually have a pill, a little pill with a camera in it, and it's amazing. It even has little lights in it as well, like its own little headlights. But they can actually have someone take this pill, and the pill takes pictures of their digestive tract as it goes through the digestive tract, sending back images to the doctor's computer, video screen, whatever. It usually records it, and it takes like a day and a half for this camera to go all the way through a person's system, but it just takes pictures all the way down their digestive tract. Then the doctor can download all the pictures and see if there's anything going on. It's pretty impressive. It's amazing they can get a camera, a battery, and lights in that small of a package where you could actually swallow it. Okay, your liver is up and to the right of your stomach. It's over the small intestine. It's a big organ, very, very big organ. We'll get into that in the next thing as well. So that's where the liver is located. What does your liver do for the digestive process? Biggest thing for the digestive process is it makes bile. It's really nasty. It's a green liquid. It's extremely, extremely bitter. Now, I know all of you have been sick in the past. Usually when you vomit, it's hydrochloric acid that you're tasting. I know this is really gross, but if you get really, really sick, and I have been this sick before, if you're extremely sick, you can start vomiting up bile. It's extremely bitter tasting, greenish tint, nasty, nasty stuff. Okay? All right. So let's see here. What does it do for you? Breaks down fats. It breaks down fats into smaller areas, smaller little particles, so that you can absorb it. All right. Your gallbladder. Your gallbladder is, it's a little sac. It's nestled right underneath your liver, and it just holds bile because you want a lot of bile. And then after you eat, after the stomach's done with its digestion part, so probably, 45 minutes, an hour after you eat, your gallbladder actually starts injecting bile into your small intestine. Pancreas. Pancreas does a lot of stuff. I'll sing the praises of the pancreas. Biggest thing it does for the digestive system is it makes digestive fluids. It makes all these chemicals that helps break things down. Now, linked to this one, pancreas, we often hear about the pancreas when we talk about diabetes. Now, diabetes, pancreas makes insulin. Insulin allows the cells around your circulatory system to be able to absorb absorb sugars that are in your bloodstream. Now, sugars came from obviously digestion, but it helps them absorb it. Now, people that don't make their own insulin, they have to take it, they have to inject themselves with insulin, or some diabetics I know, they have an insulin pump that they just wear on their body, and it's got laboratory made insulin in it. And anytime that they need insulin, it'll automatically pump insulin into their body stream. Now, they have to be really, really careful about getting insulin, making sure that they get insulin at the right times, get enough insulin. If their blood sugar gets too low or too high, they can have big problems. In fact, one day I was driving home, and there is a lady, a little bit of an older lady, and she was just parked in the middle of the road. And so I pulled over, I stopped, I went to talk to her, and she was just very, very confused. She didn't know what she was doing. She was asking me, now I live way out in Alta, which is quite a ways. I have about a half-hour drive into Grand Rapids. She was looking for a place in Grand Rapids, actually, and she was way out in the country, just stopped in the middle of the road. She had no clue what was going on. Started talking to her for a little bit, and it was really interesting. She was actually extremely, I think, I'd have to get this right, but I think she was high. She had too much blood sugar, and her cells were not. No, wait, I'm sorry. Her blood sugar was low. My bad. Her blood sugar was really, really low. Um, and so it was causing major problems for her thinking and stuff like that. So she jumped in my truck. We went to the corner gas station. I called the police. Police showed up. We gave her a Pepsi, and she was great after that. So the moral of the story here is, Pepsi solves everything. But just so you know what diabetics go through and stuff like that, and their blood sugar levels, they have to constantly monitor that. Okay. Villi are like these little finger things. There's all these like finger shaped things on your small intestine. They greatly increase the surface area. In fact, the surface area of your small intestine, if we were able to stretch it out and make it flat, it would be a tennis court. That is how big, and I think I'm getting, yeah, that's number 13. That's how much surface area your small intestine has. A whole tennis court. That's a lot of area for absorption. All right, fiber. Fiber is an interesting thing. Fiber is a lot like starch, except for it's chemically bonded a little bit differently. You cannot break down fiber. Okay, it does absolutely nothing for you as far as nutrients, but you need fiber. Fiber is really important. Fiber goes through your digestive system, and it makes your digestive system make more mucus. Okay, it makes more mucus to try and flush that out. It's almost like, think of eating fiber like swallowing a sponge. Now, don't do it. Don't go eat a sponge or anything like that. But the fiber goes through your digestive system, and it just kind of cleans everything out as it goes through your digestive system. Okay. Let's see here. How long is the small or the large intestine? That's about 1.4 meters. That's about 4 1/3, 4.5 feet. About that long. Really, really important stuff. It's right after your small intestine. It kind of goes up around your small intestine and down to your bottom. Okay, that's where your large intestine is. Main things that your large intestine does for you, it stores waste and it reabsorbs all that water. It takes a ton of water to go through everything. Um, that just takes a lot of water to do. You have to keep it mushy, keep it fluid. And at the end of this process, your large intestine will reabsorb that water. Okay? Bacteria, why is it good to have bacteria in your large intestine? The bacteria, they help you break stuff down, but they also make a lot of chemicals, a lot of vitamins. Vitamin K is one major one that it makes. Okay? Now, when you're born, you do not have a whole lot of bacteria in your large intestine. Okay? And I can say this because I've had kids. For the first 2 or 3 days, baby poop, it doesn't stink. It's the bacteria that makes when you fart, it makes it stink. It makes your fecal matter, makes your poop stink as well. Okay, so babies, they don't have any bacteria. Their poop doesn't stink. Now after that, ooh man, it starts stinking really, really bad. But when they're first born, baby poop doesn't stink. Okay, why is it important to get rid of waste? If you don't get rid of it, it's going to decompose inside your body and it's going to build up all kinds of nasty toxins. So that's a really, really bad thing. All right. Some people are allergic to protein in wheat. Gluten-free people. Gluten-free people don't eat wheat. Okay. When these people eat foods made with wheat, a reaction destroys the villi in the small intestine. What problems would you expect these people to experience? One major thing is if you're getting rid of the villi in your small intestine, you are greatly reducing your surface area. Once you have less surface area, you can't absorb nutrients nearly as well. Okay. And so that's the biggest thing. You're getting rid of the surface area. You can't absorb the nutrients that you need if you're destroying all your villi. Some people can have bleeding in their digestive system as well, stuff like that. But the biggest thing for most people is a lack of surface area. All right. And then diarrhea. Diarrhea is a condition in which waste material that is eliminated contains too much water. How much diarrhea upset homeostasis in the body? And I put a definition for homeostasis down here. Homeostasis is the ability to maintain a relatively stable internal environment has not changed based on the conditions around it. Okay. An example of homeostasis would be if you get really cold. Your body wants to maintain a high internal temperature. You go outside, you get really cold. What do? You start shivering. And that's an example of homeostasis. That's an example of your body trying to maintain a stable internal environment regardless of what's going on to it. Okay? Now, if you get diarrhea, you're going to be getting dehydrated. You're going to be losing a lot of water. Okay? So that's how diarrhea upsets homeostasis in your body. You're losing tons of water. You're losing your water, which is a really bad thing. Okay? How can produce and reduce the effects of diarrhea? Drink more water. That's the biggest thing that you would have to do. If you get diarrhea, you have to drink more water. Okay? Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this answered your question. Email me. Email me anytime that you have questions about this stuff. I love getting emails from you. Definitely missing you guys. This has been an adjustment, but hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, a few people have been emailing me about the go-kart and updates on it. And we got the engine set up, the torque converter set up. We have all the parts for the frame. We are waiting for the axles to come in. Once we get the axles to come in, we can start cutting the frame and welding it. So hope you guys are having fun. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're not going too nuts and don't have too much cabin fever. But mostly hope that you're happy and healthy and just really relying on God, really relying on the Lord, because we all know He is in control. He is Lord over all. Thank you. Have a great day.